Hi, everyone. This is the weather hazard briefing for Tuesday, December 20th from the National Weather Service office here in Pocatello, Idaho. We've been talking about some of the snow, wind, and dangerous cold heading our way for the past couple of days now, and we are getting even closer to this event, so we'll dig into some of the details here as we go through this morning and take a look at what the next couple of days have in store for us. So for today on Tuesday, mainly dry, but expect some light snow on and off at times today, mainly at the higher elevations and up near the Driggs and Island Park areas. Sun Valley also might get in on some of that light snow. So if you do see some of that, don't be shocked. But more of that snow, or what will be some of the heaviest snow, will be falling more so overnight tonight and into Wednesday morning, and then kind of on and off as we go through Wednesday before tapering off. Now, we're still expecting the mountains to be the big winners of the higher snow totals with this system, especially towards the Sawtooths. We'll see plenty, and then more so over into the big holes in the Tetons and the Bear River Range, seeing, again, some of the most snow out of this. At the lower elevations here, we will still see some snow. We'll look at some of those snow totals. But some of the bigger impacts are going to be coming from the strong wind gusts overnight Tuesday, especially until Wednesday morning. That will make for some blowing and drifting snow. Doesn't take a lot of snow falling for that wind to then create near whiteout conditions in some cases. So keep that in mind, especially if you have any driving plans early Wednesday or even overnight tonight into Wednesday morning. Then temperatures are also going to plummet. Once the snow stops, those temperatures drop, and Thursday is going to be a very cold day. In fact, dangerously cold, you could say. So we'll talk about that coming up here too. Satellite this morning showing more of that moisture that is streaming in from the Pacific. Again, that moisture is arriving today and will bring some of that snow to us, especially overnight and into Wednesday. And then, of course, the clouds, they're here too, and they're going to be sticking around with this system. As far as watches and warnings currently, this is as of pretty early Tuesday morning. Expect this map to update a little bit as we go throughout the day today. We've got some winter storm warnings, winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, and by the time these wrap up, expect to see likely some wind chill warnings. Again, with that dangerous cold headed our way on Thursday, so keep checking back for updates on this, and of course we'll post those updates as they happen on our social media too, so that's a good place to go to find the latest updates. As far as our weather risk outlook grid, for today, you can see most of us in the green to kind of that light orange, some little to no impacts versus some minor impacts, where we start to see some of that snow up, in the eastern highlands near the Driggs and Island Park area, and up in the Sawtooths and part of the southeast highlands. Again, where we see a little bit more of that snow today, that's where you get into some minor impacts. Most of us, though, will stay pretty dry today, aside from maybe a few flurries here and there. We get into Wednesday and Thursday, though, decide to bump those up to moderate impacts because of the snow and, blowing snow with those strong wind gusts and the dangerous cold headed our way on Thursday behind the system, or at least on the backside of it. By the time we get to Friday and Saturday, model's still hinting at the potential for a little bit of light snow as we get into the holiday weekend, so that's something to keep in mind too. I know a lot of people doing traveling over the next few days. If you can limit some of that, especially early Wednesday and then really throughout the day on Thursday, just because of how cold it is going to be, certainly don't want to get stuck or stranded anywhere in that kind of cold. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about some of those more specific numbers coming up in a few slides here. So our high temperatures today, we are going to actually make it back into the 20s and 30s for most of us. I would say enjoy it, but it's a little chilly out there. But it will be warm compared to what Thursday is going to bring for us. So again, today, most of us 20s, 30s, a little bit of light snow here and there, a little bit more if you're up towards Island Park and Driggs. Looking at some of our snowfall amounts, this says now through Thursday. Again, most of the snow is going to be falling overnight tonight through Wednesday. Just kind of have it in the now through Thursday time frame to encapsulate all of this. Those higher elevations really are going to be the big winners, especially some of those mountain passes. But even up near Stanley, we've got the winter weather advisory, looking at potentially 4 to 6 inches. Again, you get into some of the eastern highlands, you're looking at also more of those 4 to 6, potentially some 6 to 8 inches of snow. Those of us down here in the valleys, or at least the lower elevations from Rexburg, Idaho Falls, here to Pocatello, and towards Burley. I think a lot of us stay under 2 inches of snow with this system. So again, the snow totals themselves not going to be the biggest impacts, especially for some of these travel areas outside of the mountain passes, but it's really going to be impacts from the wind gusts blowing around that snow that is falling, and of course any of the snow on the ground that it can get picked up. Because here's a look at some of our wind gusts as we go into Wednesday morning. Yes, we've got wind gusts, especially along the Snake Plain, anywhere basically from 30 to 40 miles per hour. Wouldn't be too surprised if we do see a few wind gusts stronger than that even. So it is going to be quite windy as we get underway on Wednesday. Again, during that time frame too, we're still going to be seeing some of that snow falling, and it doesn't take much snow for strong winds like this to create near whiteout conditions in some cases. So if you do have any travel plans on Wednesday, maybe push it off to later in the day if you can, or at least be prepared for winter driving conditions. By the time we get to Wednesday evening, those winds will be starting to back off a little bit, but through parts of the Magic Valley and the Southern Hills, we're still going to be seeing those gusts between about 25 to 35 miles per hour. Those winds will start to back off as we get into Thursday a bit more. Wednesday temperatures aren't going to be terrible. I want to show you these and then go to Thursday temperatures to kind of show that comparison. Most of us are going to be in the 20s and 30s on Wednesday, and those drop very quickly. Highs on Thursday for a lot of us in the single digits. You get into a little bit farther west into the Magic Valley, you're closer to some low double digits, some low teens, but a lot of us will be in the single digits. The farther north you go, near Island Park and Spencer, you'll struggle to get to zero or even above zero. So as far as we get into the Thursday morning time frame, winds will still be a little bit breezy in a few spots, some gusts 15, 20-ish miles per hour. While the winds will be lighter, temperatures will be falling, so those winds are going to make it feel much, much colder. Wind chills Thursday morning, probably going to be approaching negative 45, negative 50 degrees up north near Spencer and Island Park. For most of the rest of us, I'm looking at negative 15 to negative 30 on those wind chills. So if you don't need to do any traveling, especially Thursday morning, as far as impacts from the cold, I would push it off if you can, or if you do have to travel, make sure you've got your winter kit ready in your car. Fill up your gas before you have to go out on Thursday, because you don't even want to be out that long pumping gas at that point, because you get to these kinds of feels like temperatures, and that hypothermia and frostbite can set in 10, 15 minutes again. So make sure you are prepared if you do have to do any traveling. But if you can kind of push off anything from Wednesday or Thursday to maybe even on Friday, Friday would be a little bit better of an option. But again, just be prepared ahead of time. By the time we get to Friday, it's still going to be chilly, but again, feeling warmer compared to where we'll have been on Thursday. Temperatures make it back into the teens and low 20s for afternoon highs. And then we'll keep warming up as we get into the holiday weekend. By the time we get to Saturday, in fact, some of us back into the 20s and low 30s. By early next week, we could be seeing temperatures getting closer to 40 degrees. So a little bit of a warm-up headed our way once we get past this cold snap on Thursday. Thankfully, it is short-lived, so that's a silver lining to this. So here in summary, some light snow is possible through today, your Tuesday, mainly at the higher elevations. More of that snow is going to be falling overnight and into Wednesday. In the mountains are going to see the most of this, but some of the biggest impacts, even where snow totals are lighter, are going to be from blowing and drifting snow, especially early Wednesday because of those strong wind gusts, anywhere from about 30 to 40 miles per hour, with some isolated gusts potentially higher than that. And then temperatures really drop on the backside of the system with dangerous wind chills, anywhere from almost negative 30 to negative 50 early Thursday morning, and not much improvement as we get into Thursday afternoon. Some light snow potential continues for Friday and Saturday as temperatures slowly start to warm back up. Again, a reminder to get the latest weather information our updates on our social media pages. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always find us there, or go ahead and send us an email or give us a phone call. When you send us an email, it'll make a fun little noise like that. All right. Other than that, make sure you stay safe and keep checking in for all the latest updates.